And we're 2 months in. We've still got 4 years left of this.
Well, and
Like, popcorn.
we haven't even mentioned that Le Pen was sentenced to prison in France today. She has the right of appeal. We haven't spoken about Erdogan arresting his top political rival last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Saw that.
These are funny times, and I hope you do have a lot of popcorn. Now, I want to go into a new segment for the show. I only want it to be 5 minutes long. And basically, what we're going to call this is predictive instincts, okay? I'm going to ask you a question, or you can ask me a question where you think a market, an asset will be at the end of June. And then we're going to look at our predictions at the end of June and see how wrong we were or how correct we were.
Okay.
And we'll do this once a month on each podcast with different assets, 5 different things, always about 3 or 4 months out, so we can, have a good laugh on ourselves and prove what geniuses we are. So I want to ask you, where's gold going to be at the end of June? And I've told you already, someone's told me it's going to be at 3,500. Where will gold be at the end of June? That's one.
Okay. I'm going to say, I'm going to say 3,000. You know what? I'm going to say 3,600. Very pessimistic these days. But that a lot of that's going to depend on if these tariffs stick, if they continue to go through.
Don't have to explain. Don't explain. Let's not keep this on. So
Right. 3,600. That's my guess.
Okay.
Lock
I'll
me
say
in.
3,003.
Okay.
What do you think the price of Tesla will be at the end of June?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Let's see what
Where
the
is it now?
price
It's
of
lost half
Tesla
of its
is
value.
right now.
It's
Hold
lost half
on.
of its value, but I can't remember. Yeah, what
I'll
is it?
tell you what the value is right now. Hold on one second, my friend. It's 257 right now.
Okay. I'll make a bold prediction and a hot take right now. I predict that by that time, this is end of June.
The end of June.
Okay. So I think that by the end of June, this little experiment with Doge and between Musk and Trump will have run its course.
They asked you what the price is going to be.
I know, just reasoning it through here. I think that Musk will be in damage control. He'll be probably damage controlling for a good month by that time. So I'll say that it's at 300. I think
I'm going to say 325.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Will the Fed, question number 3, cut interest rates before July?
Oh, that's a good
It's
one.
at 450 right now, the federal funds rate. Will they cut by a quarter of a point in June or May?
I think that they will. And I think that because interest rates are already climbing and that's their only weapon.
Okay.
So I think they'll do a quarter point by then.
Okay. I'll predict a quarter of a point cut also, sometime in June probably. So I think it'll be around 425 by July, I believe. Okay.
Okay.
Here's one for Mr. Hollywood. I've asked how many questions already? 3?
I think so.
Yeah. What's the price of Disney going to be at the end of June now that they've had this illustrious hit with Snow White?
They've taken such a bath. You and I both predicted that one. We got that right. What's Disney trading at today? I haven't looked.
Let's see. Hold on one second. I'll tell you. Apparently, okay. Let's see. The price of Disney is at 98.68 right now.
Wow. Okay. I think
Down.
that by the time June rolls around, you have to be aware they have a few releases that are looking promising. There's a couple of Marvel releases.
I asked you what the price of the stock is going to be.
I know. So I think largely investors will have forgotten the Snow White debacle. I think it'll go down a little bit. It might have already been baked into the numbers now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take a bath on Snow White. Apparently, they spent almost $350 million just making this thing, another $350 to market it or more.
Yeah, I've heard that they have to make about 500 to 600 to do so.
By the time it's June, you'll have already had the Memorial Day release cycle. You'll have had summer release cycle in there. There'll be some optimism. There always is. And then you have amusement parks at full peak because it's summer.
Price, please.
It'll go up. I'll say by June, 125 for their stock.
I'll say 110. Okay. And last but not least, what will the value of the euro US dollar be at the end of June? I'll tell you what the value is now. Hold on. Now, this is a little unfair for me to ask you in the sense because it does shift so much here. Right now, it's at 1.0816. 0.10816. So do you think the euro will be valued more and be stronger, which would mean that it would be 109, 110, 111, something like that? Or do you think it'll be weaker, 7, 106, 105, 103?
I think it'll be stronger. I also think the dollar will be. I think both of them get a little bit stronger, but I think more people are investing in. We're seeing it in the markets already in Europe, and I think that'll trickle down to the valuation of their currency in some ways. That's a tricky one. It could go.
But I'm asking you
I'll
the
say
euro against the dollar. So the dollar could not be stronger against the
no.
euro
I get it. I
if
know,
the
but I'm
euro
saying
were stronger.
yeah.
So
I'm saying that
let me
both of
point
them.
that out. I'm
Yeah,
talking about the pair itself.
yeah. I think the euro will be stronger.
Okay. Any prediction on a number? It's at 1.0816 right now. I'm going to say, I'll go before you.
Okay.
I think it'll be around 1.11
Okay.
by the end of June.
Yeah. I don't
I
think.
think it'll go up.
I think because I'm looking at valuation for both, I think it will go up as well. Like I said, yeah, I think right in there. If you want me to say a number, I'll say 115.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right in around where you were saying.
Okay. All right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Now, as a special guest, we have Jim Kramer stepping in, and he's going to give his opinion. Mr. Kramer. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay. Jim
let's
Kramer.
now.
Jim Kramer on Mad Money, by the way, reminds me of every Frank Oz voiced Muppet character all rolled into one. You got a little Miss Piggy in there. You got some Yoda. You got some Grover. Hey, Froggy
Please.
baby.
Any earworms the last week, sir?
Yes, I do. Okay, so we have a coffee machine. It's a Breville coffee maker. It makes these. Makes lattes and whatever else. It's an espresso maker and a grinder and all that stuff. And it's like a little mini version of what you see at a coffee shop. And it's really cool. We love this thing. My wife noticed, and I've noticed too, but it's when you start heating up the steamer part of it to go in the milk, it's a little nozzle, and you got to flip this thing over, and you wait for it to heat up, and then the steam comes out, and then once it gets going, it starts this thump 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 thump, and it's like a
Metronomes.
metronome, yeah. And it just sounds like that. And so each of us has started getting these earworms from this thing every morning when we make coffee. And so for my wife, it's been, I can't remember which song it is now, but for me, it's Long Time by Boston.
Thank you.
It's been such a long time. But it starts with that. Dum, 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 dum. So that every single morning, that song starts going through my head now if I've made coffee.
You know, it's more than a feeling. All right. So thank you, Mr. Summer.
Thank you, Mr.
We'll
Petrucci.
see.
Thank you, everybody listening in or watching. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. The Risk Reward Show is a co-production of Angry Metatraders and Leitmotiv Press. It is produced by Scott Summer and Robert Petrucci and engineered by Scott Summer and Sagi Nizri. Music is by All Good Folks, a group of composers based in London that you should definitely check out. You'll find us wherever you get your podcasts, as we're everywhere, like the gods we are.